Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of Sunnahfollowers Tawheed class. And this is a class wherein we've been discussing the lawful and the unlawful things in Islam. And we've been focusing for the past few days on games and entertainment. Yeah, games and entertainment. And let me put the quiz up on the screen for today, because we talked about board games yesterday. And let's look at the first question here. Who can tell us what type of board games, if any, are haram for Muslims to play with? Who can answer that correctly? What type of board games, if any, are haram for us Muslims to play with? Anyone, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Muslims cannot play with any board games involving dice.
Okay, does everybody agree with her answer? She said Muslims cannot indulge in any type of board games that entail using dice. Everybody agree with her? Is that it? That's all?
Now there are exceptions. We have computer games now that I've never seen them. I've never played them because I'm not a game player, but the class taught that we do have games that we can play that were restricted for physically. We can play them online.
Okay, I want to know, what are the type of games that are I don't want to know what games we can play. Is that all, guys? What type of board games, if any, are haram for us as Muslims to play? She said any type of game that deals with dice. Are there any other things?
Joker? The games that have Joker?
Not so much Joker, but what type of games entail jokers? What do you guys think? What else is haram besides playing with dice?
Gambling, if it involves gambling.
Exactly. If it involves gambling.
And it's not violating Islamic morality.
Exactly, guys. So again, what type of board games are haram? Number one, we cannot play any board game if it involves dice. Number two, whatever the board game is, it cannot involve any type of gambling. You guys understand that? And number three, whatever the board game is, it cannot be a board game that transgresses the limits of Allah with immorality. Who can give me an example? Who can give me an example of a board game that may involve gambling? Who can give me an example of a board game that may involve gambling? Go ahead, Lucy.
Assalamu alaikum. Monopoly, when you have to do your little moving around and then you got to pay cash and all that stuff.
Is that gambling? You guys know what it means to gamble? Who can tell us, what does it mean to gamble? What does gambling mean? What's gambling, guys?
Is it risk taking with your money?
Yeah, so that's betting. It's not risk taking, it's when you bet on something. Okay, that's gambling. So can anybody give me an example of how a person would play a board game that entails gambling? It's not hard, guys.
Well, back in the Prophet's day, Sallallahu, I think one of the companions didn't like chess because people were gambling, they were playing for money in chess.
Okay,
So that
yeah, but give me an example of how I can, okay, gambling means to bet. Say, for example, we were playing a board game and I said, I bet you one. I want y'all to give me an example of betting. This ain't as hard as y'all make it out to be. We're playing a board game and I say, I bet you $100 that I will win. If I win this game, I will pay you $100. That's an example of gambling, guys. I just wanted y'all to give me an example of gambling. Do y'all know what it means to gamble? Okay, so say, for example, I'm gonna play Operation. There's a board game called Operation. And we gamble. I say, if I win, you have to pay me $500. If you win, I'll pay you $100. That's gambling. Does everybody understand? So as long as whatever the board game is does not entail you gambling, then you can play it. As long as the board game does not entail using dice, you can play it. So give me an example of a board game using dice.
There's this game called Trouble where you like press the dice that's in the middle, so like you can continue on moving your
Exactly.
characters.
Trouble. You guys pop up, you press pop it and it pops up the dice. That's an example. Any type of game using dice, we can't play. Backgammon. Good job, Sister Yvette. And also Sister Fatima. Okay, backgammon. Backgammon entails dice. And an example would be like Sister Yvette said, if I bet you $500 or whatever that I'll win. So as long as it doesn't entail that, give me an example of a game that entails immorality. Give me an example of a game, a board game that entails immorality. Anyone?
I would say, like I've seen on TV or something like where they try to contact the jinn, like they play.
Ouija, Ouija, there you go. She's talking about Ouija. That's immorality. We're against witchcraft and magic. That stuff contradicts Islamic morality. So why would I take out a Ouija board and play a Ouija game? Okay, it doesn't have dice. It doesn't entail gambling, but it's something that contradicts Islamic morality. Who can give me another example of a board game that can contradict Islamic morality? Good job, Elma. Who can give me another example of a board game that may contradict immorality? I gave you guys an example of that game we used to have when I was growing up called the dating game. Who's your mystery date? It was called mystery date. There's no dating in Islam, so why would I play that type of board game? Yes, Zaytun. Go ahead, Zaytun.
Wait,
Yeah.
did I say something?
Oh, yeah. You want to use a mic? Go ahead.
No, I just joined. I didn't say anything.
Okay, so that's examples, guys. Anything, if the game entails violating the moralities of Islam, then we don't do it. Mystery date, we can't play that because there's no dating, there's no boyfriends, there's no girlfriends in Islam. What about a Cupid game? Cupid shoots an arrow at you. Can we play that type of game?
No,
No.
Why?
that's part of a dating too.
And it does what?
It,
Finding love or something like that.
It violates Islamic morality. If I had played a game and telling Cupid shooting hearts at you and you have to fall in love, what about spin the bottle? Can we play spin the bottle?
no, that's a kissing game.
And why, what does that violate?
Morality.
Okay, again, anything that violates Islamic morality, we stay away from. Okay, so that's how you answer questions here, guys. I made these questions easy. Okay, so any type of board game that entails playing with dice, gambling, or that violates Islamic morality is haram. What about Candyland? Can we play Candyland? Does anybody remember what Candyland is? If you don't, anybody remember Candyland?
Candyland is just bubbles that you're playing with. It doesn't involve betting or like gambling with money or anything like that. So
It's no
as long
dice
as it's
either, is it? I don't think it's dice. I can't remember. Is it?
It's not dice. It's just a bunch of bubbles that you play with,
Okay,
or candies that pop. I used to play it. It doesn't involve any betting or gambling.
good job. Good job. Yeah, long as it doesn't entail anything like that. Norto, you got something to share? Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't got no. Why it keeps opening our mics up?
I see that. It's a problem with, that's why that's why I made a lot of y'all moderators. I made a lot of y'all moderators to mute the people when they come in, because for some reason, Zoom got everybody's mic coming on when they come in. Okay, let's look at. Go ahead.
The mic
Yeah.
mic came more than 30 times today, open on me.
Yeah, well,
30
I made you a co-host, so now you can mute yourself and anybody else's. Anybody that come
Do you
in
know
with, yeah. You know
Do
how
you
to
know the
mute,
reason? Do you know the reason why it keep opening?
because
without
Zoom is probably updating. Every time Zoom releases a new update, it messes up the controls. So just don't worry about it. Just close the people's mic up for them, because they don't know. Okay, question number 2. What did the companions, which companions said that it is lawful to play chess? We hear these Muslims today even pulling out guns about chess. Which of the companions said that chess is lawful to play? This coffee is good. Anybody remember? Does anybody remember which of the companions said chess is lawful? And I'm gonna tell you why I put this answer on here. Because I spent about 15, 20 minutes yesterday explaining to you guys how whenever a question is presented and you got different opinions, how to choose the correct one. So I put this question on here to see who fell asleep when I was teaching y'all that, or who was listening. Because so many of you Muslims today go on the internet and go to Islam Q&A websites when that ain't how we learn Islam. We don't learn Islam from no Q&A website. So which companions said that playing chess is lawful? Can anybody remember?
Ibn Abbas.
Okay.
Abu Hurairah.
Sister Norto said that Ibn Abbas was one of the companions that said that chess is lawful. Brother Ansar Ibn Bustamante. Brother Ansar Ibn Bustamante. Do you remember another companion that said that playing chess is lawful? Brother Ansar Ibn Bustamante. The rest of you, we got to mute these mics. That's why I made y'all moderators. I just did
Ibn Abbas. It was Ibn Abbas, Hisham bin Umaira, and then Sa'd bin Musab, and Abu Huraira, and Ibn Sirin.
Okay, Abu Huraira, Ibn Sirin. Who else said
Also Umar, because he was the one that said that chess is a great board game to play to like figure out how to defeat your enemy.
And since Umar said that, what does that mean, Sister Melion, when you come upon people who argue as to whether or not chess is lawful? Since you know that Umar said that, what does that mean?
It means that it's lawful because Umar out-trumps any other companion, because he'll be like the third one to enter paradise after. Yeah.
Exactly. Y'all hear that? That's it. Umar said you can play it. That's the end of the conversation. I don't even have to mention Ibn Abbas. I don't even have to mention Abu Huraira. I definitely don't have to mention Ibn Sirin, Ibn Hazm, or anyone else, because Umar out-trumps everybody else except for Abu Bakr and the Prophet himself. If Umar said it's lawful, that's it. I don't need no fatwa from Ibn Taymiyyah. And by the way, let me ask this. Can Ibn Taymiyyah, what about this? If Ibn Taymiyyah presented a fatwa saying that chest is haram, and you have Ibn Umar saying that he thinks it's excellent because it's a great way to strategize against your enemies, whose opinion do you take?
Ibn Omar.
Why would you take it? Why would you take Ibn Umar?
Because he's an eminent companion. He out-trumps the other guy.
Exactly, guys. I want y'all to understand. What about this? Sheikh Albani. What if Sheikh Albani issued a fatwa saying that it's haram to play chess? But I give you the hadith where Abu Huraira said it's lawful. Whose answer is correct?
Abu Huraira's.
Why is Abu Huraira's answer correct?
Because he out-trumped Albani.
Why does he out-trump Albani?
Because he was before Albani.
What does that mean?
He is with the Prophet.
Okay, well, Anissa, don't say he was before Albani. Albani just died in the year 2000.
Right.
You say that if he was a companion of the Prophet, Ibn Abbas was not a companion of, Sheikh Albani was not a companion of the Prophet. So how can Sheikh Albani issue anything against what those companions said? Does everybody understand? So we have to stop taking fatwa off the internet from men who were living during our time and trying to say that unless those men said it's lawful, it ain't, because those men are not better than those companions. Allah says in the Quran, the best of this nation were the Prophet and his companions, and then the ones that came after them, and then the ones that came after them. I'm sorry, guys, Sheikh Albani doesn't compare. We don't take Sheikh Albani over any companion. We don't take Ibn Taymiyyah over any companion. We don't take Ibn Kathir over a companion. We don't take Ibn Qayyim over a companion. We don't take Layla Nashiba over a companion. We don't take Sheikh Morsi over a companion. We don't take Qaradari over a companion. Do y'all understand that? Most Muslims today do not. Okay? Good job, Sister Layli. Good job, Sister Sakina. Facebook always answers correctly. Okay, let's look at the last question. Is it lawful to sing? And if so, are there conditions? Anissa, don't answer. I want to hear from these 30 other people that's in here. Is it lawful to sing in Islam? And if so, are there any conditions? I don't want to hear from anyone who's already answered. I want to hear from the rest of you who have not said anything. Sister Marianne, what do you think, sweetie? Is it lawful to sing in Islam? We talked about this yesterday. Can you remember some of the things we said about singing, Sister Marianne?
It is lawful to sing as long as it's not, doesn't have any instruments, and as long as it doesn't make you want to sin.
What?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
You got
Good job. Good job.
It's
Good job.
6:24.
Good job. That shows she was paying attention yesterday. The rest of y'all better do like Sister Marianne and pay attention in class. So when I call on you, you can answer just like she did in detail.
What about nasheed? Nasheed.
What does nasheed mean in English?
Nasheed is Sometime without music, some people
Don't
they have.
forget, I know what it means, but I want you to think English. What is the English word for nasheed? I know what it is, but I want you to know, and they do too. The question is, can we sing? Is singing lawful in Islam? And then you asked, what about a nasheed? What does nasheed mean in English?
No, people sing nasheed, right? They sing it.
Nasheed
They
is
have
just the Arabic way of singing. Yes, that's the same thing. It's the same question. Nasheeds
Okay.
are poetry, poems,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
songs are poems. So it's the same thing, just a different language. Okay? It's the same question, just a different language. Nasheed, when y'all hear the word anasheed or nasheed, this is, in English, we would just say either poetry or songstry. The English word songstry, songs are poems that we put together and sing. And nasheeds are poems that they put together and sing. It's just different language, and Arabic and language and English. So is it permissible to sing in Islam? Y'all see how Marianne answered that. She said, yes, it is. As long as what you're singing does not violate Islamic morals, and as long as you do not have music accompanying it. Did y'all hear her answer? That's it. Who can give me some evidence? Because there are some fanatical Muslims that tell you that you can't sing. How about this? Can women sing? Can women sing?
Yes, they can.
Where's your evidence?
The prophet was sitting and there was a little girl that was singing and playing the tambourine, and they was telling him it was haram. He said, she's fine, let her be.
Okay, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate. This is what the people who don't believe in the Sunnah, which I'm finding out are a lot of Arabs now, especially from my father's homeland, Egypt. They will say that those were little girls. Those were little girls. What is the evidence that women can sing? Anyone else? Go ahead, Khadijah. Go ahead, Khadijah. Oh, she's coming in. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I would love to hear that British accent, though, my baby Khadijah. I love her.
Alaikum.
Well,
I've just come in, so I'm not sure what the question is.
I know you know the answer, so just tell them. Give me some evidence. What would you say? Can a woman sing? And can you give me some evidence that women can indeed sing? And Islam does not forbid. Don't use the hadith about the little girls, because some people will say, oh, they were children. Can you think of another hadith that we talked about that proves that women can indeed sing? If not, go ahead, Latifa, or she's coming in too. This thing is—
No, I can't, sorry.
Yeah, it's making everybody's mic come on when they join. So that okay. Anybody else? Any other evidence? Elma, one of my best students here. Elma, can you think of a hadith that proves that women can sing? Amina Fresno, are you in here?
Sorry, I can't remember right now.
You read so well today too, Fresno.
Yeah, but it's noisy in my house.
Girl, you read, I want to tell you, you read even Dr. Asim says she's back. As I told you, you read very well today. Anybody else? What's some evidence? No one can think of the hadith that proves that women can sing?
There's a hadith where Aisha gave like one of her relatives in marriage to one of the men of the Ansar. And then the prophet basically asked him, like, did you have like a singer there? And he said no. And that's when the prophet said that the answer are people who love poetry. So you should have, sent someone there to sing.
Exactly. Y'all remember that hadith? Somebody got married, and the prophet asked Aisha, did you send a singer? Because they love to party. The Ansar love to party. That's what he was basically saying. Everybody likes a good party. And they love entertainment. So that's hadith there is the proof. Women can sing, you know. But again, are there stipulations?
As long as it does not transgress the limits of Allah.
Exactly. And as long as there is no, that means no musical instruments. You're not singing about immorality or anything like that. Everybody got that. Okay. And that's also, that hadith is also the proof that the anashid is the same as singing, because he said they love poetry and they love to entertain. Anashid is just the Arabic way of saying sing, just a different language. Okay, let's see. So are there, what about this? Say, for example, one of the brothers and a sister at the mosque got married. Can they bring entertainment to the wedding? Can entertainment, and I mean, can they bring a band, hire a band to come and play at the wedding? Is this permissible?
Yes, as long as it doesn't transgress the laws of Allah.
Sister Norto, does a band transgress the limits of Allah?
Well, depends on what band, because there's some bands that do a cappella, so I don't know.
You know what? You need to get out of here. You know darn well a band is what? What's a band, guys?
Instruments.
That's a musical instrument group, Norto. But what about this? Say, for example, you got married. Norto got married. Can that be a miracle? Believe you me.
Okay, bye.
Norto finally found somebody that could put up with her and married her. Hello. And I decided to go to her wedding. And I hired the Pentatonics to come and sing at her wedding. For those of you who don't know, the Pentatonics is one of the most famous groups in America. They do not use musical instruments. They sing a cappella. Could I hire them to come and perform at Sister Norto's wedding?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yes, I'll be there.
Yes, you can, because they don't use musical instruments. So that hadith too shows, that hadith about the wedding, that shows that there's nothing wrong with us having entertainment. But again, the entertainment itself must not transgress the limits of Allah. You know, I can't come in here and bring, what about Maroon 5? Can I bring in Maroon 5 to perform? No, because that's musical instruments. What about this? Can the women and men dance together at Norto's wedding? Can we dance together? In other words, can I sit there and say I was married to Moses? Me and Moses. Moses walks through the door with his staff and he got me on his arm. He tells Aaron to hold the staff and he say, hit it, Layla. And I get to doing it. Hello, and everybody watching. Then Moses get to jigging too. Everybody clapping and watching us dance together. Can we do that?
No.
There you go. Y'all get it?
Well, Layla, what about people that, you know, back in time, they used to use like spoons and stuff. Would that be considered an instrument as well? And they used to do spoons to make the noise.
Okay, a spoon is something we eat with. That's not a musical instrument.
So some people make music with, like I said, with that.
That's not music, that's noise. Music is what's made from a guitar. Music is what's made from a trombone, a flute, a clarinet. They had flutes back in those days. They had clarinets back in those days. They had harps, pianos. Musical instruments are not made from spoons and knives. I can take my hand and hit it on the desk. Keeping a beat, but I'm not playing a musical instrument. I'm just hitting my hand on the desk. That's called noise. You guys get it? So when the prophet said musical instruments are the handiwork of Shaitan, he was talking about real musical instruments. He was not talking about your hand is a handiwork of Shaitan. He did not say the table is a handiwork of Shaitan. He did not say this cup. Y'all heard the cup song? Now that cup song that's famous off a Pitchfork, she's singing with a cup. A cup is not a musical instrument. Okay, musical instruments are musical instruments. They're instruments made, designed to play harmonic music. Y'all get it?
Yes.
All right. Okay, any questions about any of these answers? So if you're gonna get married, Sister Norto, and have entertainment, you better have the women and men separate. If the women gonna do the belly dance or the Somali dance that y'all do in your culture, you have the women Somali dancing to the side with the women. If the men gonna be doing the spear dance and the hip hop dance with the Somali men, they be in another room. We're not co-ed. Everybody got it? We're not co-ed. Yeah, any other questions?
I have a question. Can women sing like in front of men? Can they beautify their voice?
This is another thing that I was going to talk about today too. Allah commands us women in the Quran. Allah commands us women to not beautify our voices publicly for men, to not soften our voices, because you don't know in whose heart you may stir up their jinn. Okay, because Shaitan runs through a man like blood runs through his veins. Ask social media. That's why you see all these Arabic women on social media and they all sound like little girls. You have 1 million women and they all, you can't tell one from the other because they all talk with little childlike voices. Women been doing that for centuries because it appeals to men. We're supposed to make our voice the way you guys hear my voice. You're supposed to speak like me publicly, okay? So one of the signs of the last hour, the prophet said, is women will sing and entice the men. Musical instruments will appear. Women singing. No, we're not supposed to do that. The women would sing with the women. The women would dance with the women. The men would sing with the men and dance with the men. Yes, the men could hear the women singing, but they weren't sitting there watching them. Like when the prophet came to Medina, they sang that song, the women and children. Okay, they would sing like that whenever somebody of importance arrived, or they would sing at weddings, but they weren't standing up in the middle of the room with all the attention on them and they're belting out Beyonce song. You guys understand that? So we don't do that. Women do not get on stage and stand in front of a group of men and sing. We don't do this. It's one of the signs of the last hour, because that it requires beautifying your voice. That's why a woman cannot call the adhan. That's why a woman does not have to call the iqamet. There's the prophet said there's no adhan and there's no iqamet for a woman. Why? Because we have to beautify our voices. You have to sing the adhan, sing the iqamet. That's why even when we read Quran, Tajweed, we don't beautify our voices. But you guys come in here with us, with Dr. Asim today, and I have to say we all did pretty good. I'm talking about me and Fresno and Anissa, because we're the ones that's new at reading. We're not advanced. We all read very well, but you guys see, we don't sing it. I made my voice deeper than it is. We make our voices deep so as not to seduce anyone. We can't, beautify our voices publicly. That's why women don't have to call the adhan or the comment. So y'all understand that. So based on that, no, a woman cannot stand up and sing around a bunch of men. That is not Islamic. A God-fearing woman would not do that. Just like Allah says in the Quran, a God-fearing, believing woman would never soften her voice publicly. For you brother out there who's so desperate to find a wife, when y'all sitting on social media, listening to a bunch of women talk like babies, that should tell you ain't nothing righteous here. Because as Allah himself says, oh, you women who believe, do not soften your voice publicly. If they don't sound like Layla Nashiba, you brother need to run away because you got a jinn. The prophet said some women take the form of a devil and try to seduce you weak men. And social media is filled with a lot of female devils, especially that Clubhouse. So you brothers who think you're gonna find a righteous woman on there, not on Clubhouse, you're gonna find a bunch of she-devils that the prophet said stay away from. Everybody got that? So does that answer the question about women singing around men? Just like
yes, thank you.
Yeah, we can't sing the Ikamen and Idan around them. You definitely can't stand there and be Beyonce. Put a ring on it somewhere else. Everybody got that? Okay, any other questions? And by the way, I think my delivery is here. Let me get my, Jayla, can you get my groceries? Are they outside the door? Yeah, because I hear them order dropped off. Alfred left. Alfred? Who the heck? Yeah, please bring it. Alfred left them at my door. Okay. Alfred, I know is Batman. Hello. Okay, yeah. Okay, any other questions about any of these answers? Okay, so at the weddings, women sing, and at the when a person of importance comes, women and children sing, but to go to the mosque and stand up and start singing Mariah Carey, we don't do that. All right, if there's no questions, let me put the PowerPoint up. And she's got the groceries. Who is that? Somebody else didn't see the screen now. Okay, today we're going to answer the question that so many of you ask about going to the movies, going to the ballet. Can I go see a ballet? Can I go watch a movie? And we're going to also speak a little bit more in depth about gambling. First of all, as we discussed yesterday, Allah has not made it haram for us to participate in sports and games as long as the game or sport does not transgress its limits, but it does forbid us from any game or any sport too that involves betting. And I'm glad we're talking about this today, because on the quiz, it seems to me like you guys didn't know what gambling is. Okay, remember the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever tells his friend, come on and let's gamble, has to give in charity as part of their repentance. Okay, so gambling is a horrific sin in Islam, and we cannot do this. So that means going to what we have today known as the casinos. We cannot go to the casino and gamble. That also includes playing the lottery. You know, a lot of Muslims today that I know personally, they play the lottery. And if they hit, they say, well, I'll just give half of it to the mosque. Just because you gave half of your winnings to the mosque does not excuse the sin. This is gambling. You buy 50 tickets and you pay a certain price for all those tickets, and you hoping that you hit and make one that's going to give you back that money, this is gambling. This is haram. And even if you gave it all to the mosque, Allah is not going to accept it as charity from you. Does everybody understand that? So gambling includes no casino play. It also includes no lottery playing and also raffle tickets. A lot of Muslims ask me about raffle tickets. Your job is selling raffle tickets to raise money. So you buy 10 tickets in hopes that you will win the prize of a television. So you're hoping that one of the 10 tickets you have is the ticket that is drawn. This is gambling, okay? This is betting and gambling, it's haram. So no more raffle tickets, guys. And it doesn't matter if the raffle ticket is for a good cause. Some people will say, Sister Layla, they're selling raffle tickets for the March of Dimes. You want to buy $100 worth of raffle tickets? It's for a good cause. Yeah, it's for a good cause, but it's still a major sin. You're disobeying your Lord by wasting money. So gambling includes raffle tickets, lottery tickets, casinos, and all of that. So stay away from that, guys, as a Muslim. We have to remember that in Islam, our property is considered sacred. Remember, the life, the money, and the honor of a Muslim is sacred. And our property cannot be taken from us except through lawful exchange, or unless you give it freely. Taking it from him by gambling is unlawful. So we have to stay away from these devices of shaitan. Also, you need to teach your children, especially your teenage sons, that gambling is not just haram because Allah said so, but it also is bad and dirty because Allah said so, and it leads to hatred. It leads to enmity and other evil sins, okay? It'll make you steal. It'll make you lie. It'll make you cheat. So it's just a stepping stone to more corruption of the human soul. And you need to explain this to your children so they grow up knowing that it's something bad and they won't indulge in it. And also gambling is addictive. And we spoke about how anything that's addictive is haram. The only person that we're supposed to be addicted to is Allah, not anyone or anything else. So this is why Allah made gambling such a major sin. And it's also a waste of our time. Once you become addicted to gambling, you're going to keep buying those lottery tickets. You're going to keep playing the lottery every day because you're hoping to hit for that $2,000, or you're hoping to hit that $1 million jackpot. And you're always trying to make your money back. You're betting on the horses, betting on cards, you know, gambling with cards and stuff, trying to make your money back. So, you know, this is why we have to stay away from it. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. O you who believe, truly intoxicants and gambling and divination by arrows are an abomination of Shaitan's doing. So stay away from them so that you may succeed. Shaitan only desires to sow enmity and hatred amongst you through intoxicants and gambling, and to turn you away from remembering Allah. So will you not then stay away from it? Here you can see in this verse of the Quran, Allah is clearly letting us know gambling, drugs, intoxicants of any nature, all of that stuff is bad because it takes us away from Allah. And anything that takes you away from Allah will eventually destroy you. And so as parents, we have to explain this to our children so they don't grow up with these filthy addictions. And again, for those Muslims out there who continue to play the lottery and who continue to deal in raffles, we have to understand that Allah is pure and good, and he does not accept anything unless it is pure and good. So thinking, that it's for a good cause, or thinking that you're going to give half your earnings or winnings to the mosque, this is not excusing anything. And that brings us to the point that I really want to go in today. I want to answer the question that many new converts ask: is it true that it's haram to watch television? That it's haram to go to the movie theaters and watch movies? Is that it's haram to go to the ballet? Well, again, whenever any person on this earth tells you that something is haram, they have to bring forth the clear evidence where Allah said it's haram, or the Prophet said it's haram, not some fatwa off the internet. It's true that there are a lot of dirty, bad movies out there. It's true that there are a lot of homosexual, dirty, bad plays and performances out there. But can we say that all of them are bad and that it's haram? No, it depends on the content. Okay? So to answer this question about watching movies, watching television, looking at performances, the first condition is, number one, whatever you're watching, the content must be free of sin and free of any immorality. That means that whatever you're watching, it should not be against Islamic beliefs. It shouldn't be movies advocating homosexuality, for example. Movies advocating selling drugs. Movies advocating murder. Movies advocating fornication, adultery. Movies that excite your sexual desire. Movies that glorify crime. Movies that excite your greed. This type of stuff we have to stay away from. And we have to also remember that each and every one of us is different. What excites me may not excite you, and what excites you may not excite me. I can probably watch a movie and see a man and a woman touch, kiss. It does nothing to me. I grew up in America. We see it all the time, walking down the street. But you may come from another part of the world and you see a man and a woman kiss, and all of a sudden it's got you going crazy. Well, if it bothers you, then you stop watching it. But you can't tell me I can't. This is part of the norm here. So again, each and every one of us have different strengths and we have different weaknesses. You know what your weakness is, you stay away. I gave you guys an example. My weakness is fantasy. I can live in the world of fantasy and never come out. I can live in a virtual world where I am katana with a sword on my back, riding through the land, smashing and challenging anyone. I could live that way. So I stay away from games. Virtual reality games that entail that, where I can put my face on and take on that character. You won't see me playing those games because I'll never come out of it. So I know my weakness, but I can play Pac-Man and it does nothing. I can play Donkey Kong, it does nothing. So we know our strength and our weaknesses. If something, for example, say you're a person, before you converted to Islam, you used to be a drug addict. You used to do drugs. A person like that shouldn't watch a movie like Scarface. Why are you watching Scarface when all that's doing is taking you back to that lifestyle? You know? So again, each and every one of us is different. What excites me or ignites me may not do the same for you. So again, the content of the movie, the content of the game, the content of the ballet should not entail something that will, incite you to commit sin. And also, whatever movie or whatever game or whatever video you're watching, it should not cause you to neglect your religious obligations. Another reason as to why I don't play virtual reality games. I'll never come out. I won't come in here and do no classes. I'll say, forget the classes. I might even say, forget prayer. I'll pray in my virtual reality. People get twisted like that, you know? So whatever the movie or whatever the game is, it should not, impede upon that. You have to be able to cut it off and go make your prayers, cut it off, go to the mosque, cut it off, go to work, cut it off, go to sleep, cut it off and eat, cut it off and drink, cut it off, rest. Okay, but if it's impeding on that, your obligations to Allah and yourself, then you need to leave it alone. And thirdly, whatever the movie, video, or game or whatever it is, it should not entail free mixing amongst women and men. What does that mean? That means a woman should not be sitting next to a man in a theater who is not a mahram to her. If I'm going to go to the movies, well, we have COVID now. We're going to do social distancing. I'm going to sit in the back where I ain't sitting next to no man who ain't no mahram to me. Okay? No free mixing like that. There's some women out there who are uneducated about the deen, and they'll say, oh, you can't go to the movies at all, Layla, because men are there. So men were around with the Prophet's wives. Allah doesn't say I can't go nowhere where men are. Allah is saying I can't free mix with them. Free mix means I can't sit next to them. I can't sit up on them and touch on them and all of that. So if I'm going to go to the movies to watch Spider-Man, I'm going to sit in the back or in the front where ain't nobody beside me. Okay. So again, we can't say things are haram, guys. We can say that things have conditions, but we cannot say that things are haram. Just like you cannot say that women can't play sports. I can play sports as long as I meet the conditions. I can sing as long as I meet the certain conditions for singing. I can go to the movies. I can go to a ballet as long as the ballet doesn't include anything that's immoral. As long as I ain't going to watch the Chippendale dancers. Hello, now that's a different story. If I was going to go watch the Chippendales, oh no. Okay. So again, guys, as you can see, most things in life are lawful for us as long as they do not conflict with our Islamic belief system or our Islamic morals. And as long as we're not transgressing the limits of Allah against ourselves. Okay, so we're going to stop right here for today. If there's any questions or comments, inshallah, you can type them on the screen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Any questions?